Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom tube. For this you're going to need a 3/32, 1/8 inch, 5/32, 3/16, and a 1/4 inch Allen key. You're also going to need dowel, and oil is optional on some of these parts. I'm going to go ahead and start with the valve itself. You're going to need the valve tool also. But for the valve itself, you're going to need to take some dowel, put it around the valve O-ring. It's a valve body, and this is valve stem right here. There's an O-ring on the front of this that actually seals the valve up. Go ahead and put some dowel on that also. That drops in from the back. So it should look like that when you stick it in. The spring will go in before it, and on top of that you'll have a nut that actually holds it in there. So when it's in the bottom valve, when you install it in the tube, it actually looks like this. Now the easiest way to do this is actually take your valve tool with it all assembled. Actually sets on the valve tool straight up and down. Then take your body, and on the valve there's one hole on it that needs to point up. That actually sends the air up into the top chamber. So what you need to do is take this little milled out hole right here, stick it in. Once it lines up, you need to take an Allen key and just put it in there to hold it in place. And as it gets pushed back farther, use a bigger Allen key to hold it in place. Makes it easier so everything lines up. And use the Allen key to kind of spin it before you lock it in place. Next, I'm going to take a set screw, put it in. Use your 5/32 Allen key. Don't put it in tight. Just put it in so it's in, so it just holds it in place while you go ahead and push the valve all the way up in there. So that's up in there. I always take the set screw and back it out just to make sure it's lined up in there. Otherwise you're going to end up marking up the body real bad, the valve body. So I know that's in there straight, so I'm going to go ahead and lock this down, which will set the valve in place. Alright, once that's done, there's actually another set screw that holds the retaining nut in place, that actually holds the valve in. You'll take your 3/32 Allen key, just thread this in, and that's basically the valve assembled right there. It's all ready to go. So next I'm going to go ahead and put on the front guide. It has an O-ring. Just grease up the O-ring. Slip it on. And just threads in the front. You can take a 3/16 Allen key. It's actually cut up here in the front. Stick it on there. It's good to go. Next, you have your vertical adapter. This comes. It looks like a proprietary O-ring, but it's actually not. It's just a regular O-ring. Just want to grease it up. Then once you stick it in here, just kind of push it over, and it'll shape itself. Take your screw, and it goes in the middle one, middle hole. You'll take 3/16 Allen key, and the top one and the bottom one are for air inlet. The middle one is actually what the screw goes into. Go ahead and screw that in. Down tight. Alright, next you're going to drop your hammer in. The slot obviously faces up. You'll take 1/8 inch Allen key. You want to drop the lug down just enough so it holds it in place. You have to time it later on. I'll show you how to do that. You want it dropped in just far enough to where it doesn't slide out. Next, you have this hammer spring, the IVG. You can't actually put, it's one thing I forgot to mention, you can't actually put, some people put oil on the hammer, some people don't. I prefer to run it dry just because oil tends to attract dirt, especially on half blocks. It'll hold it in there. Take your 5/32, no, 3/16 the IVG. What I always do is turn it in like 3 or 4 times, and then it's actually just a cap for the back. It doesn't actually do anything, it's just decorative. Take your 1/4 inch Allen key, just put it on tight, and once you have that done, take your 3/16 and just back it back out until the IVG hits the cap. What this will do, I always do it when I reconer the gun because it just puts it at a lower pressure, and then I can just fine tune it forward from there. But that's the bottom tube, totally assembled. Not too bad. Alright, next step, we're going to go ahead and put the top on the tube, the bottom tube. There's a new detent system on the T2. Instead of being on the side as you normally would see it, this little hole right up here, it just uses a spider detent, and it sets down in the hole, and then it uses 2 of the T10 Torx screws to actually hold it down right here and right here. And what you'll do is you'll actually put one in from the feed neck, and then one in where this little hole is on the back of the body. Once again, the easiest way to do this is going to be upside down, but I'm going to put Loctite on the body just because I don't change the body. I don't have the right feed body or the stock class or anything like that, so I put blue Loctite just to hold them in place so they don't work themselves out. Just need 1 drop on each screw. Alright. And now the detent won't actually hold in place, at least for me it won't. Sometimes it might for you when it's newer. But the detent goes in this little slot right here that's not actually round. It's more rectangular, or however you want to call it. But once you have those lined up, drop the detent. I like to hold it in place with one hand. Sorry, I'm going to try to get this on video. Makes it a little hard. But you put the screw on here, turn it upside down to where you can actually see inside the tube. Just get it started in here. Alright, there we go. But you can actually see what you're doing that way, and just makes it really easy to line up. Actually keep the screw on the screwdriver. Alright, once you have that done, you go ahead and do the same thing with the back. The back's a little bit easier because you can just stick it right through. Get that on video. Stick it right through here. It goes right into the hole right there. They don't need to be super tight. They have Loctite on them, just make them tight. But that's the top tube on it. I didn't actually take off the feed neck. All it consists of is, it's like a spider. It has 2 screws, one on the front, one on the back, and then inside this is actually threaded on. But that's all there is to that.